What's going on, everybody? This is Aged Out Reacts with the two hosts of the Aged Out podcast, Mike Fantini
Evan Worrell.
and we have our most recent podcast guest on with us today to do a couple reaction videos we're going to be recording. So today, Paul Nalesnik, you there, dude?
What's going on? What's going on?
Whoop, whoop.
Glad to be back with you. This should be just as fun as the podcast recording. So before we get into today's reaction videos, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the video if you like it, drop a comment if you feel like it, share it with all your friends, help spread the word of the channel and the podcast. Check out the podcast on all major podcast services, Google, Apple, Spotify, etc., or on YouTube here if you just want to use that. Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. And today's videos, as you can see now, shout out to the video's channel today. Drumline Archives is the first video that we're going to be watching, which, as you can see in the top left of your screen now, is the 94 Cadets on their semifinals warm-up. So the blueprint for today...
Doing a little old school, new school mix.
Yeah, the blueprint is going to be an old Cadets video right into one of the newer Cadets videos that Paul actually taught. So really cool. We're going to do 94 Cadets first, and then we're going to do 2018, right? 2017.
17. Yeah.
Thank you. 17 Cadets second. So remember, Drumline Archives is the first 94 Cadets video source. Go check them out, subscribe, show the support. And you guys ready to hop into this?
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right. This is show music. I think it's the last rep of this. Let's let it play for a second.
Dude, those drums sound like they're cranked.
Oh, yeah.
Those bass drums.
There was a 60 frames per second video on this.
Who's this guy?
Can't imagine. Kiefer, maybe?
I don't know.
Kiefer, maybe?
It's a dope Zildjian jacket, kind of. All right. Here we go.
Yep.
Typical
Just
Cadets.
digging into these
just
rolls.
Tight, beefy rolls.
But even, the low and everything is just articulated so well.
Oh, boy. Evan, you...
Yep.
Dude, they the snare start that roll and just pass it right off the quads. Go back real quick.
All right.
10 seconds.
Real quick, you
Just
made the best
just
comment.
feeds into it.
Before we were talking about this, before the started recording, you made the best comment, Evan, about this video specifically, because we previewed it a little bit for like 30 seconds. You're like, it looks
Dude,
like
it seems like it's in fast forward. It's nuts. But
Yeah.
if you watch their feet are moving like slow, but their hands are just like warp speed. It's ridiculous.
just tight,
just
fast
great.
rolls. All right, how far back? Let's go. Here we go.
I
Let's
don't know.
go to
That's
here.
fine.
Oh my God.
Jeez.
Good Lord.
Dude, they are laying in these shots.
They're laying into all of it. Typical boom ba doom.
Alright. Here we go. Oh my gosh.
It's so good.
Oh,
Oh,
I
Dude,
thought-
those threes. Oh my gosh. Dude,
let's rewind.
I don't
that.
understand.
they
I don't
just threw
understand
those in there out of nowhere.
the level of command that you need to play these duple rolls like that, man. And they're not like hiding at all. Each player is committing.
No,
to,
it's just pure quality through and through,
this
all the way down the
full
line.
maxed out sound, and like you can hear it. Each section has this like just driving 16-note roll, and it passes off so well. It's like
Yeah.
there can't be any hesitation. Man.
Nope.
Like this, and then you see like these like threes and paired little rolls like out of nowhere. This is my favorite Cadets line by far.
Oh, well,
I just the way that they used it in the music too, the West Side Story show, like all this stuff. Play it
real
for
quick. Funny story
easel.
about this line. The guy that taught me how to drum was in this snare line. So
Oh, no way.
he didn't finish the season because he blew his eardrum out. Like with like 3 weeks left, I think there's 7 snares in this video, or 8, because they lost midsummer. His name's Damon Smith, and they lost. I think it was mid-July. He like started to just have severe ringing in one of his ears, and he went to the doctor, and he was like, "Look, if you keep doing this, you will permanently lose the hearing in that ear."
Rough.
And so he stayed on tour the rest of the summer, and there's one video with him in it, and it's the video where they're like backed up to a fence at a lot in like early July. But yeah, so fun fact about this year that a lot of people probably don't know.
I mean, if you the drum feature coming up, they literally play like 3 of the loudest notes I've ever heard. They just smack 3 like 30+ inch notes. Like you'll see it. That's probably has a lot to do with it.
Oh,
jeez.
Rolling the one. Woo.
Oh,
just
my
like the
gosh.
just the nonchalant sticks in. Just
Yep. On to the next. This build is really cool too. Just keeps going.
Oof. I can hear the music in my head.
oh, the roll into threes again. Are those the 3? Are those the 3 notes you were talking about?
Dude, here we go. All right, hold on, go back. We gotta get a clean start of this.
Fresh start.
This quad break. Dude, this quad break, pause real quick. It's just like comes right out of like the first thing you were talking about a second ago, Paul. Just no hesitation, just straight on full notes right at the get go.
Oh yeah, and it's only them. You know, you hear these like segmented features in the show, and it's literally only them. Both snares, quads, even the like quick little bass thing. Oh man, these are by far some of the hardest quad breaks I've ever seen, and it was like how many years ago? You know what I mean? Like this is insane to watch now.
Yep. All right, here we go.
Here we go. Sing.
It's just a cold attack, just right into it.
Yeah, go back. I don't think you guys understand how hard those sweeps are. They go from one side of the drum to the next side, like 1 3 2 4, like figure 8 sweeps at 6 tuple speed.
Jeez.
Dude, look at the one on the left. He just like looks at his hand like, oh, my pinky right.
Yeah, and he just like nails the single 6 after.
Wasn't Bill Bachman in these early '90s quad lines?
He's towards the left, I believe. He's got some great videos of this stuff too.
Just these fast rolls, man. It's just so in there.
Yeah.
This is all Newson full score. Yeah.
On to the next.
Yep. It's the next rep.
Hold on, go back.
Yeah, that was just like
again because there's literally no ticks in that. But my favorite part of this whole video is how the snare or center snare, whoever's dudding, like rises in pitch and like grows excitement, and they just like completely nail the lick. It's
like he's like, here we go, everybody pay attention.
Yeah,
that's the infamous Eric Ward is the center for this line. I think Tom Rarick's in this line too.
That's my favorite part.
2 1 2 2 3 4 da, 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 da.
So you're right. That was freaking perfect. And my favorite part is the one left hand accent flam where the grace note's perfect. Like the spacing, this flam space, like it's so clean.
There's nothing in there.
No big deal.
Bop-a-doom.
Oh, I love bass hair. Just go back.
Yeah,
It was like I want it again.
it's like a 4 or 8 count feature, but like the articulation is so clear. Like they go 2 2 2 2, and then the threes like you hear every single note.
Dude, the rhythmic inter person to person is just nails.
Yeah.
No big deal. We'll just layer in on top of each other.
That was like a sticks down on the and of the after the release. Like wasn't even a full count. Just boom down, boom
How
down.
much fulcrum control do you need do you need to play this stuff like on a daily
ridiculous
basis?
amounts.
Oh my gosh.
Chops for days,
You don't
man.
see that nowadays.
All right, let's
You
pull
don't
up
see
this.
that weight.
Jump forward here. What was this?
13
years.
Yeah, 13 years forward. Watch
First year
Paul
back.
click these sticks like a master here in the middle of this circle.
What kind of shoes are those? Those looks fly.
Those are good
Oh
shoes,
man,
yeah.
those are whatever I had on tour. I was on there for a while.
And also, keep your ears open, folks, because you'll hear our friend Brian dropping just random comments throughout all this. It's pure gold.
Oh, this is such cool music. Tom's first year back at the Cadets for a little while.
Andrew Kane playing quads at 9 feet tall.
17 feet.
It's even better because they're facing away from us.
Yes, Brian, you are correct.
All this felt so good at my hands.
On the profile. Pause.
Pins. Yeah, pause
I
it.
said this before too, but I just appreciate the crispness in the snare drums, but yet how it still sounds like an actual snare drum. It doesn't sound like a box. You can hear the guts, but the articulation is still there. Did you guys? You guys just used a regular Black Max, right?
Yeah, it was a Black Max on top and a Flam 2 on the bottom, and there was a slight bit of muffling.
Some people went with the new head that summer. I think it was the first year, the Suede Max. I just have
Was that
never.
the first year?
I don't
think so.
I'm not a fan of
It was
that.
a year
I'm
around
not
that.
a fan of that.
I don't like the head that much either.
We were doing we did like a prototype of a set of bottom heads as well. I don't know, they were called like the 860s or something. And yeah, I mean that tuning, it all kind of fit well within the full battery sound. I remember talking, to the bass tacks and me and myself tuning the snares and quads, kind of fitting it in a way that was still open and tonal, but had that dryness and that like cadet kind of sound. So finding a balance between the two is really tough, but yeah, I definitely love the sonority of the drums. Yamaha makes some good ones.
For sure.
All right, let's keep going.
But like the style of this stuff compared to 94, it's like it's aggressive, yet like stylistic now.
Yeah.
Super epic music. This bass line was phenomenal too.
Oof.
Yep.
This quad feature's nasty.
Yep.
I have to say this because I just talked about him from 94, but Demond is right here. This dude with the sunglasses right there.
Oh no way.
That's the guy
Yeah,
that
yeah.
blew his ear out in
Nice.
94 and wasn't able to finish the summer. He's an amazing dude. Just great dude.
That's awesome. Go back. Can you go back to the double time section?
Yes.
And it was really cool, man. That like
Beginning of
that-
this part?
Yeah, it was such an epic part in the show. It's called Deep Profundus, and they had like this halftime march. And the feel kind of went in and out of this halftime, double time, and you kind of hear it in the snare voice, the quad voice every now and then. But that bass drum part is holding down that like very march like feel. Yeah, it's so hip. I love what Tom did with this stuff.
Mhm.
And then you just like step off. Goes to 50.
The one thing I'm jealous of with kids that march now, look at the shoes they get to wear.
Oh, they had the whole outfit. Tony Todd.
I was wearing dinkles the whole time.
No support.
Nope.
360.
Cadets, what? This isn't the Cadets. They don't do back sticks. What is this? No stick tricks.
Fresh, man.
Ooh, this bugger is boogada.
Arguably one of the best HP in the last 10 years.
It's definitely up there.
Interplay here, aggression.
Ooh, hold on. I gotta rewind that. Though that's 6 tuplet singles right into the roll. That was
Yeah, and even the stuff before that, like this like growing 16th note, kind of hocketed part, but then like you hear this roll and then it just kicks off into like this like just 6-slit fest like for days. And
Classic Tom Ram.
Yep.
Right there. That's so hard. Brian just loses it.
The classic Cadets kick. Dude, I love that he just like sticks to it. Like he writes so many like single-handed flam drives, in like those grandmas and stuff. It feels so good.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean everything has so much demand, and like I know that some of the stuff, like I remember watching some old school Dartmouth videos, and I think he even like uses a lot of the same compositional motifs, you know, and you'll hear it. And I remember that first part. I think that was like some Dartmouth part from like I think 2014, 2013. But the way that he fit it in there,
it just worked.
It, like every single bar had such demand, you know. And I remember us having to check everything and get so much reinforcement physically of the stuff, because when you put it all together, you know, there cannot be any sort of hesitation. Everyone's got to push the energy forward, just like the music is, right? Like you have to match the level of the music and then some with the amount of like, physical demand they were displaying. So man, it was such a hype to clean this stuff towards the end, because it was like they were so locked into the process, and it had such momentum every time we were cleaning it. And they were an 8th place drumline. You know what I mean? This is a phenomenal.
It's crazy to think about.
During this summer on our podcast, we debated whether they should have been an 8th place drumline. In our opinions, they should not have been. But
nope.
You know, there were a lot of factors out of those players' control, and you know, it's a very subjective form of competition. So, you know, the day, a lot of groups have a lot of things that are very admirable about them, and you know. I think this battery section was one of ours. You know what I mean? As a cadet percussion section.
It's a very politically correct answer of you, by the way, Paul.
I mean, I just want to. I don't want to be rude.
No, I totally agree. I get where you're coming from. I'm just giving you shit.
There were strengths and there were weaknesses in the section, and but I think this battery and the show too is really good music. You know, Bernstein.
Yeah.
So definitely a lot of credit to Tom and his creativity in this. You know, it was just like I remember the first couple of weeks of the season, there were just so much excitement because of the whole Vic Firth learning the music videos, and the fact that they, you know, had this drum feature and even like another like cool jam in 12/8 RAM. Like there's just so much content in this line that I really really enjoyed teaching them, man.
This drum feature is the kind of drum feature you go to March for Tom Monks to play. Like this is why you go March for Tom Monks, to get to play something like this.
For sure.
So before we close this out, I have to ask, you tuned the snare drums this summer, right? That summer?
That summer, yeah.
All
I
right.
did.
Very, very pleasing to the ear. Well done, sir. Like they're wet. Evan put it really well earlier, I think, before we started recording. They're wet, but they're not too wet. They still articulate very, very well, and it just hits the spot for me. So kudos.
Thanks, man. I you know, I had a season of WGI tuning United snare drums as well as their caption head, so I kind of had some trial and error there. And when you're doing something every single day for 5 hours, you eventually figure out a method that works for you. So
right.
You know, but I appreciate that a lot. Thanks, man.
All right, well, this was a really good one. Tons of fun. Hit subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the like button. Drop a comment. Check out the podcast. We reiterated it all earlier. Patreon.com/AgedOutPodcast if you want to support us financially. All major podcast services, other clip videos on YouTube, reaction videos, blah, blah, blah. You guys know the drill. Share the content. We'll see everybody next time.
Peace.
Peace.